This is a work by Lana Čmajčanin called Balkan Cruelty. And the images that you see, both the scenes of rape and sexual violence and the flowers and the plants are taken from a 19th century folio, drawn and sheets of paper collated together and distributed as a book. And the audience for that book was the elite class of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in the 19th century. And so these are native plants to the region, to the territories of the Balkans, and then these are Balkan subjects in various different uniforms, military uniforms, and they're drawn in this way, engaged in acts of sexual violence, for two reasons. One of them was to produce something sensational and titillating for the audience to consume, and the other was to reinforce the image of the Balkan subject as somebody who engaged in excessive acts of violence and violation. It had that ideological purpose on some level to be, to draw people into the myth of this subject. So I wanted to ask you, what is your sense of this work in the show? Where did you come across it in the first place? Mm-hmm. How do you see it in relationship to the theme?
I think one of the reasons why this is such a kind of crucial point of departure in the exhibition is because it gives this really long view of how this kind of image of the barbaric Balkan other was consumed, created and recreated. Because this kind of image existed right after Bosnia and Herzegovina was annexed, an image that we could really easily kind of reproduce when Yugoslavia fell apart in the 90s. And there was quite an effort by the Western European countries to reproduce this image after the fall of Yugoslavia, and to also use this as a reason not to intervene in the conflict between these barbaric others. To have in view this extreme way in which Bosnians were already imagined at such an early stage.
I wanted to pick up on something that you said, the need to recast these subjects in terms of these kinds of words, colonialism and barbarism. One of the things that strikes me about the work is the relationship that's made between images of rape and the land and indigenous plants. That there's this real correlation somehow between what's happening to the female body and what's happening to the plants that are sort of decontextualized. I also think that there's one of the most important aesthetic decisions that the artist made was to turn the folio into a wallpaper, to create this environment with this decorative imagery, and immerse us in this state, in these ideas of what the Balkan is and what the space of the Balkans is, through this use of imagery.